Hello, dear friends. Here we are, 12 encounters with the Divine Friend. This is day 4. Day 4 and for loving you. Yes, this is our theme. And it comes from chapter 18 from the book Contos e Apólogos. On the Path of Love is the chapter in the book. Yes, on the path of love, an encounter with a divine friend. Are you becoming surprised ever more about this divine friend that you've always had and haven't noticed? And if you knew there was a friend, this divine, Jesus Christ, did you know that he was that divine? Yes, these are questions that really make us feel more hopeful, more joyful, more resilient, more persistent, more encouraged, and truly faithful. Right? Yes, we are here at Kardec Radio with you in these 12 encounters with the Divine Friend. What a joy, what an opportunity for us to discover the new not only in the guiding model, but the new in you and I. Because he's a guiding model and the divine friend doesn't come so we appreciate him only. That's not the reason why he came in. He came in to model a new pathway. Thank you, Carol Correa, for checking on the system and for being with us once again. Thank you, my friend. And let me say hi to the other friends. This is such a beautiful community, and it's becoming an ever more beautiful community. A community that is becoming ever more engaged into this worldwide outreach, right? Yes, so here we have our dear Adilson Araújo, Valéria Benfica, Justina. How are you, Justina? Welcome, welcome. Patricia and Tiago. Thank you, Patricia, for the beautiful flowers. We feel the love, as our dear Carol says. John the Rose, how are you? Enilda, how are you? Sunshine. Welcome, welcome, my friend. Rosalind Rosa, thank you. Lea Severo, how are you, Lea? And Rita Di Cassia. Welcome, Rita. Yes, Angelita, and our dear birthday lady, Ceisa, Ceisa, Ceisa. You're amazing. Yeah, and happy birthday to you, Ceisa. And for I'm gonna say in Portuguese. Parabéns pra você. Parabéns, querida Ceisa. Parabéns pra você. Yes, lots of joy, health, and lots of endurance in this pathway with the Divine Friend, right? It's an honor to be with you on this very day, Ceisa. Right? Rudy, how are you? Carol Correa is saying happy birthday to Ceisa. Annie Mercia, how are you, Annie? Yes, it's a joy and a wonderful opportunity, right, Anilda? Adorable, you're adorable, friends. Lea Severo. Yes, it feels good, and we know these ties that bind us together. First and foremost, they are the ties of God the Almighty. And then our true friendship, because this is a friendship that is established on the foundations of our spiritual search. And these are everlasting, because this is not going to end. It's going to continue, and we'll stay together forever. You stay in my heart. Yes, we are very happy. Right, Annie? And you too. Today, you're gonna know more about this Divine Master that is gonna encounter you and I. Let me ask you this question. Have you ever invited the Divine Master to be with you? To join you on some of your parties or anything? Have you ever asked this divine friend to join you? Think about this. When was it? Where was it? What did you do? Hello, Julija. It's very important for us to ask this question because today we're going to have another encounter with the divine friend. And I think you'll be surprised about some of the features that you're going to encounter that you didn't know, and when he actually is going to be able to join you. Shall we? Chapter 18th, from the book Contos e Apólogos. Let's not forget that this is a therapeutic conversation. There are a zillion ways of reading this, studying this. This is the way in which tonight we're gonna address it, okay? Always the next morning I wake up and I keep thinking about the teachings and I see the unfoldment of other aspects of it all, which is normal. But as Mentor Joseph says, Vanessa, what is important is that we give one step further in our discernment in life. And that's our goal. Shall we? Thank you, Julija. By the way, your picture of your daughter by the tree and her reverence and her posture was very inspirational, Julija. You know, the lessons of spirituality to our children, the respect they need to develop regarding nature and creation is truly essential. I know they're children because, you know, the spirit is still dormant. But the seeds are being planted, right? Talking about seeds, it's seeding time. Yes, seedling time inside of us. In Jerusalem, in the neighborhood of the temple, an adorned woman found a Nazarene man with fascinating and lucid eyes, with delicate hair and a melancholic smile. She strangely fixed her gaze on him. Pause. The description of the non-verbal lessons already in this paragraph. His eyes, fascinating, lucid. On time and again, our dear Humberto de Campos, through Chico Xavier, describes to us this characteristic. He had lucid eyes, eyes that emit light. Lucidity, it's light, but what kind of light? The truth of love. Yes, but lucid, which means he was also awake, which seems to be second nature because people are awake. No, not necessarily. As Robert de Ropp said, he was a biologist who came to investigate about the human mind, and interesting enough, our dear Robert de Ropp observed that majority of people on earth are in a sleep mode. Their eyes are open, but they are like zombies, like hi, and they're not seeing people. They are not seeing what's around. They are to themselves. You want to make a test? And you can encourage your friends and family to do the test. Test. Okay? Put a child right in front of the person. If they pay attention to the child, if they know how to admire the child, they're awake. If they instead keep thinking about something else, reading something else, and doing something else, they're sleeping. And why? Because a child is always alive, living, lively. If you can't pay attention to a child, your conscience is in this sleep mode. You're in your dreams or nightmares inside of your mind. How often parents are like this? They can't see the child. They want to talk important things exactly when the child are around them. Impossible. Impossible because when they're little, it's impossible. God sent them the way it is to wake us up, to make us learn mindfulness. Are you bothered by it? Mindfulness. Mindfulness. Children are good stimulation for mindfulness. If you are not there, it's going to be complicated. Yeah, very complicated. Another thing is a dog. A dog. A dog is around. And if you are not interacting or observing, we're sleeping. In the sleep mode. We need to awake. Jesus was awake. He was completely in the moment, mindful. His mind was not like, even though he had the most important task on the earth at hand, and still does, the governor of the planet, he was not like, not now, or thinking about something else. No, his eyes were there, present, mindful, lucid, and emitting the fascination of light. And with a delicate hair, but a melancholic smile. Time and again, Humberto de Campos described, Jesus had this melancholic smile. Melancholic in the sense of pensive sadness. It's that compassion and the piety, feeling for us that we could be much better off. You know? But she strangely fixed her gaze on him. She let herself be carried along by the wave of sympathy that radiated from him. She strengthened the folds of the very bright tunic. She then took on an unspeakable expression of sweetness in her gaze, perceiving in the wiggle of the fragile body the visible passion that had suddenly possessed her. She approached the unknown man and softly said, "Pause again." That's another lesson Mentor Joseph wants us to meditate upon. How often do you meet somebody from the sex that attracts you? If you're a woman and you're attracted to a woman, the other woman. A man, if you're attracted to men, the man, and vice versa. Right? How often do you change your way, just like this woman, you change your way to conquer something? How often? And you may be asking, well, Vanessa, is that a problem? Yes, that's called sensuality. Is that a problem? Yeah. What is the problem? Well, everything is relative. Sensuality is relative. And if you're promoting it in front of your partner, it may help, right? The interaction. But if you're doing this at work, in the street, emitting, exhaling that sensuality, that's gonna be a problem. It is. Emmanuel in the book, not yet in English, Vida e Sexo, through Chico Xavier, he explains to us the dangers of sensuality, because those are true vibrations. André Luiz, in the book Missionaries of the Light, he talks about that too. And in the book In the Domains of Mediumship, how an exchange of smiles, just like, you know, the way you look at the person, the way you see it, etc., may be binding people together energetically and creating some forms of impediment. Sometimes people ask, why is my life this way? One of the things could be these emissions. Remember, thought is life. Feelings generate thoughts. Thoughts generate vibrations that will trigger words and actions. So then we really need to pay attention to how much we are using those features at that level of vibration. We need to sublimate it. And first and foremost, Mentor Joseph said once at a meeting at the Spirit Side of Virginia, we need to practice looking at people in spite of the garment they are using. Not only the physical body only, the garment meaning the clothes, but the physical body, because temporarily they are in the body of a woman or a man. Those exchanges of sensuality can complicate our lives much more than we can imagine. To the point that André Luiz is going to describe to us in 2 of his books at least. Many more, but at least these 2, just to illustrate. Missionaries of the Light, in one of the chapters, and in the Domains of Mediumship, talking about people who cultivate sensuality and these exchanges with the other people, and how during the night, when the body goes to sleep, those people whom we looked in the street, or we exchanged these sensual vibrations, we meet. And instead of going to healthier locations to learn or to work, what do? We stay stuck in those sensual exchanges. What do we need to do? To sublimate it and respect. Look at people beyond what the physical is showing to us. It's a training. Is it a training? Yes, it is a training. And we need to teach especially our children, and especially the preteens and the teens. And we have to stop that conversation with little kids about boyfriend, girlfriend. They are not at that phase. You're waking up things in them that are not supposed to be awakened at that time. And when they are preteen and teens, we need to show how sacred it is. How sacred it is. We need to be very, very conscientious about the holiness of these opportunities. And we're not being Puritan here, but Jesus today is giving us the ultimate lesson ultimate lesson on how to look at people beyond what the physical is showing to us. Shall we? Young man, she said to the Nazarene man, the flowers of Sephoris filled my heart with delicious perfumes. I have happiness at your disposal in my store of fine essences. And for those who don't know, Sephoris was the most influential city at the time that we're talking about in Galilee. Sephoris. And there was a lot of business related to perfumes, and that's the reason why nowadays if you go to stores you see Sephora. Where did they get that from? It's actually a city that still, you know, we know by history back then was the most influential one. So the woman was from Sephoris, and that she got the essences from it, and she's saying that she was available to him. She pointed to an extensive place surrounded by roses in the shade of a cozy grove, and added, countless tired pilgrims seek me for the repose that comforts them. In my youthful spring, they find the pleasure that represents the crown of life. It is because the lily of the valley does not have the caress of my arms, and the tasty pomegranate does not have the honey of my lips. Come and see it. I'll give you a soft bed, golden rugs, and heady wine. I will caress your downcast forehead and heal the weariness of your long voyage. You shall rest your feet in spikenard water, and you shall happily hear the harps and the flutes of my garden. I have at my service musicians and dancers trained in the lustrous palaces. Quite interesting, huh? Before the incomprehensible muteness of the traveler, she returned, supplicating after a short pause. Young man, why don't you answer? I've discovered in your eyes a different flame, and so I proceed this way for loving you. I am thirsty for affection to fulfill my life. Answer to me. Answer to me. Right? Friends, stop. Let us think about this. How often we're that impositional onto others and we don't see the reality in front of us. How often we are willing to, and I'll say this, quote unquote, suck the vitality of people because something is missing inside of us. In some way and form, we're becoming parasites, vampires, in the spiritual sense of the word. Because we're constantly gravitating to people's lives, not because we want to give them something, but because we're expecting that they give us something that we need. The definition in the book Liberation and other books of André Luiz regarding the concept of being a vampire, whether incarnated or discarnated, it depends on the concept of when I acquire something from others, when I take it from others without being useful, without being active, without working for it, without making effort, as he says, being idle. I want to take some resources without making effort for it. You become a vampire spirit. So we really need to train our children to be giving so they don't become parasites. They don't become a vampire person in the world that is constantly trying to find somebody to lean on and suck the vitality, suck the resources, whether financial, whatever it is. Right? These are strong lessons for us. But you know, the divine encounter with the light of the truth inevitably is that shaking. It shakes us up. Right, Patricia? Welcome, Patricia, Rita de Cássia. Yes, Jesus' eyes are part of the sky in our lives, guiding us for the best, for a good path. Thank you. And Annie Mercy is saying, yes, when we were talking about sleeping, we communicate with one another during sleep time. Flávio Borges, welcome and thank you for sharing your thoughts. Thank you for being with us too. Now, these are encounters, but he didn't answer. You see, Jesus never reproaches the way we do. He's guiding us, he's training every day so we become more positive in our educational methods, in our parenting skills, in whatever circumstances that we have some form of authority. We need to have a positive attitude, a positive authority. It's not easy. How often we drop the ball? Often. But we need to keep aiming at being trained to that direction. He doesn't say anything. And she is willing to be with that spring of light. He did not seem to notice the feverish vibration with which such words were pronounced. Noticing his indefinable physiognomy, the essence dealer added a little aggravated. Will you not come? Embarrassed by that fiery look, the foreigner only murmured. Jesus is so interesting. He's not afraid. But he knows that everything is beyond words. We need to speak less, listen more, vibrate consciously even more. Vibrational messages. Today I was talking to somebody and this person was saying, oh, I need this person to do this for me, but they're not fulfilling the deadline. And then Mentor Joseph said, tell this person that if they keep being angered at the frustrated outcomes, they're gonna push it further away. If instead this person who is the boss visualizes the employee fulfilling the task, not taking personal, and visualizing that they are going to do what they need to do, they are going to be surprised by a beautiful outcome, and they will learn that thought is life. Right? Jesus knew he could help her beyond words with his vibrations. You know, there are people who just by the way they look at you, by their presence, their posture, you know, deep inside it's about vibrations. They impact you much more than people who come and they're like chatterbox. Instead, they simply stare at you, or they have that fixed gaze at you, smiling. that impacts much more. It makes you reflect much more. So that's our exercise. The homework for the next 24 hours, since we are encountering with the personal trainer of our souls, is to speak less and exercise vibrational messages. Vibrational, positive, of course, Mamma Mia. Positive. Please. Mamma Mia, we're talking about positive vibrations. Let us emit positive vibrations without saying anything. Let's learn to shh and emit. Smile. Look. Posture. Respect. Reverence to the divine of the person. Shall we? That's the exercise. Exercise less speaking and more conscious vibrational messages. The bottom line is that we all emit vibrations and messages with it. Now we need to do it consciously. Shall we? Sunday, happy Sunday. Sunday, happy Sunday. Yes, we have tweaked a little bit the song of U2. Sunday, happy Sunday. Right? And we're gonna sing. Hi Lily, hi low. And a song of love is a happy song. Right? And the this was the song that Chico Xavier loved the most, but in Portuguese. The Portuguese version is sincerely prettier, more positive, but both, the Hi Lily song is immortal. Hi Lily, hi low. And we're gonna sing that inside of us during our Sunday, while meeting people, speaking less, and singing that hi Lily, hi low, and emitting love. Love, 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 love. So what happened, Vanessa? Okay, let's go back. He murmured. What did he murmur to her? He murmured, not now, later, however, who knows? See, he's not imposing. He's not a divine friend that comes and says, come here, sit down, do this, do that. You see, we don't know how to be friends. The true friend is there, but it's not impositional. Doesn't do exactly what we want them to do, but it's going to be there when we need them most. Shall we see it? The woman, adorned with several things, was feeling despised. But she took offense. He didn't offend her. See? Jesus didn't want to offend, but she took offense. She felt despised. How often you feel despised and people didn't actually despise you? You know, this is a strategy of the spirits who don't like us. They come to us and say, yeah, they didn't like it, they didn't want you. Don't buy into that. She burst into sarcasm and laughed. When people feel rejected, they usually become sarcastic. So do the math, the logic, the reverse logic. They're sarcastic, you bet. They're hurt. They're wounded egos that are being sarcastic. Okay? 2 years later, while Jesus was raising a paralytic at the edge of the pool of Bethesda, a venerable old woman asked his help for an unfortunate individual in suffering. The master followed without hesitation. See? This divine friend never says, not now, later. He's always there. Have you ever heard of this divine friend not attending to a request when people really need it? Never. We need to imitate this friend. In a dilapidated slum, a shattered body exhaled anguished groans. The disputed aroma merchant was there, eaten up by ulcers, blackened skin, and with a deformed face. Bloody wounds dotted her flesh that were now similar to the manure of the earth, except for her deep, inquiring eyes. There was nothing left of her old femininity. She was a leprous shadow to which no one dared approach. Life is so ephemeral. It's good to tell our children beauty is a gift. A gift in the sense of a proposal. It's a trial. We need to learn how to use beauty and wealth, health, because usually we spoil it. We forget that sooner or later everything's going to change. We cannot identify ourselves with this external. We can take care of ourselves. Use makeup, at least to make people feel more comfortable. Right? Like Chico, he used a wig because he didn't want people to feel sorry for him and to feel bad about him, and many other reasons. Of course, you put yourself together so you don't want to be unpleasant to people. You wanna be in the harmony tone, but it doesn't mean we are identified with it. If I only love myself, when I am at a perfect weight, wearing Michael Kors, and not tired at all, we're never gonna love ourselves. Because even the celebrities who can do this and much more, they struggle with it. Right? And as Rita Di Cassia say, and the light came to her. She looked at the master and she recognized him. And remember, he didn't say anything. He murmured. But she recognized him. Why? By the vibrational imprint. He was the same young Nazarene of sublime posture and attractive expression. The Christ extended his arms, touched with untranslatable tenderness, and invited her. Come to me, you who suffer. In my Father's house, hope is never extinguished. The woman wanted to retreat, troubled by amazement, but she could not move her own fingers, overcome by pain. However, the master, overflowing with compassion, prostrated himself brotherly and comforted her meekly. He was gentle, nice, easy, gentle. What a divine friend. However, he came to her overflowing with compassion. When you're feeling ashamed, he's gonna come like this if you want his presence. The unhappy woman gathered all her remaining strength and asked in her reticent, sore voice, "You, the Nazarene Messiah, the prophet who heals, revives and relieves? What are you doing here with a woman as miserable as I? Nevertheless, he smiled with benevolence, with goodwill in his heart, while simply replying, "Now I come to satisfy your pleas." See, he knows you, he knows me. Our dialogue begins and stops and goes back later on. How often people have these encounters with Jesus and there are gaps in our communication. Gaps. But he knows exactly where we have left off. He knows. And he's patient. He waits for us, like he waited for her, and when she needed the most, he came. That dialogue, it's still vividly there, and he continues it with us. These are not poetry. This is not poetry. These are not beautiful words. This is reality. As a wonderful educator, he keeps in mind where, and in his heart, where we are still working. You know, like a teacher, visualize a teacher and the children working on their stations, okay? At their stations. The teacher goes there, talks to this child, leaves the child working with what they are working with, goes to another child. When they come back, they continue exactly where they left off. And our interaction with the Divine Friend is the same. He knows precisely where we stopped our conversation. To the point that he comes to her remembering the words of the first meeting, and he compassionately highlighted, "I discover in your eyes a different flame, so I proceed this way for loving you." This is Jesus telling you and I, no matter what, he loves you. He loves you. Do you have any doubt? Try him. Try him and you feel it. He is the Divine Friend, very gentle, firm. It's the perfect balance between this feminine and masculine. Very kind, gentle, never impositional, always available, always compassionate, always. And he, like a wonderful divine friend who comes to guide us, he looks at us in the eyes and say, "I discover in your eyes a different flame, so I proceed in this way for loving you." And his words are true. They are the truth, no doubt about it. How you're feeling? Rejoicing? Each encounter with the Master makes us feel like the High Lily song. Eu vivo a vida cantando. High Lily, high Lily, high low. And I'm going to sing this a little bit in Portuguese for Ceisa because it's her birthday, okay? High Lily, high low. Por isso sempre contente estou. O que passou, passou. O mundo gira depressa e nessas voltas eu vou, cantando a canção tão feliz que diz: Hi, Lily. Hi, Lily. Hello, Cesa. This is for you, for your new cycle in this reincarnation, and because Chico Xavier also loved it. And for those, hi Lily, everyone, let us sing this song and emit beautiful vibrational messages throughout this Sunday. In this way, we're gonna be helping Jesus counterbalance the waves of suffering around the world. Shall we? A big kiss and a hug. And until tomorrow, God willing, 12 days, encountering the Divine Friend.